Hello there, everyone, and welcome back to the Coast Shell YouTube channel. And this is the very first in our episode of Theme Park Interviews, where we speak to members of park management on upcoming projects. And currently, we are on the road, as we will, because we are with the Vice President of Marketing and PR at Dollywood, Pete Owens. Pete, thank you for taking the time to speak to us today while we're here in the UK. How is it over there in the US?
It's a beautiful day today, and we had a great day yesterday to announce our new attraction. And really pleased that you're interested in it and would love to talk about it.
Absolutely. So let's get straight onto this, shall we? NightFlight Expedition, um, a first of its kind ride in the world. Let's sort of take it back way to the start, shall we? How did this project kind of first come about, and kind of what was the initial thoughts and feelings as we were starting to create this project?
Well, really, what we do at Dollywood and at Hershend is we start with the story. So we had a story that we started to create in about 2017 when we started to look to build Wildwood Grove, which is the kids area that we built in 2019. And it really was a Dolly Parton story. It was about a young girl named Rebecca that represents Dolly that wandered off from her family, found a beautiful, what we would call hollow here, but an area in the forest that had a beautiful wildwood tree that is covered in butterflies. And so that's where the story started. And when we created that story, there were a lot of characters, there were a lot of other stories that could be told. The next one that we told was Big Bear, and that's where Big Bear Mountain came from. So a ranger named Ned Oakley is searching for Big Bear, a mythical, larger than life bear that roams Wildwood Grove in the Great Smoky Mountains. And you go on a search with him on Big Bear Mountain. And the next step for that for us were Ned's niece and nephew that were on the search of Secret Lake. And Secret Lake is the source by this story of all of the things that make the wildwood tree special, but more importantly, those things that glow at night in the Great Smoky Mountains. We're blessed to be where we are right outside of Great Smoky Mountains National Park. It's one of the most biodiverse areas on the planet. And within that biodiversity, there are a lot of bioluminescent animals and plants that are in the Great Smoky Mountains. One of them, and probably the most famous, are synchronous fireflies. Only one other place in the world do fireflies or lightning bugs, I don't know what you call them in the UK, but the idea is that they all gather in the Great Smoky Mountains in early June for their mating season, and you can see them actually flash in patterns
Mm.
at one another, and it's a really amazing thing to see. But that's some of the magic that there is within the Smoky Mountains that we wanted to capture in an attraction that would take our guests into the Smokies at night, into an adventure that they could have to find Secret Lake. So, short answer to your question is this all started, almost 9 years ago when we started developing the Wildwood Grove story with Dolly. And then as we've gone through this, we've selected those key things that we think are going to be great adventures for the families that visit Dollywood. How we selected the ride vendor is a completely different thing, but the opportunity was first, what's the right story to tell next as we continue to expand Wildwood Grove?
Yeah, absolutely. And as we've sort of seen construction progress with this attraction, many of the enthusiasts were sort of guessing what's it going to be. We were hearing guests of an indoor roller coaster. We were seeing the size of the building. We were thinking, wow, this is going to be a massive attraction. And with the announcement that came out yesterday, we got that massive attraction. And just touching on the ride system first of all. Obviously, we know it's going to be one of them Mack rides rocking boat style systems. Obviously, we've seen that already with Mission Bermudas over at Futuroscope in France. From my personal experience, seeing Mission Bermudas, I looked at that ride system and I thought early on, even before the ride was announced, I was like, I want it to be a Mack rocking boat because I feel like with Dollywood's attention to detail in terms of theming, storyline, immersing guests into the atmosphere of the attraction, this would be the perfect ride system for the park. So, me personally, to see this announcement was fantastic. But was Matt Rides and the Rocking Boat kind of the first choice? Was that the primary option for you guys, or was there other ones you could potentially touch on in terms of other potential choices?
Well, I mean, you're exactly right. It's a great and probably the perfect ride system for what we were trying to do to tell this story. But as we do, we RFP a lot of manufacturers. And when Big Bear Mountain opened in 2023, there was a team of people from Hershend and Dollywood that went to Europe, went to the Netherlands, went to Germany to ride prototypes at the factories of a couple of manufacturers, including Mack, to have an opportunity to see what was next, what was the innovation that they were coming up with, because innovation is a pillar for both Dollywood and for Hershend. We look to try to find those things that no one else is doing. In our, if you were going to look at our brand documents, one of the things that we say is, as others zig, we zag. So if they're going one way, we try to go a different way. And, the opportunity with this rocking boat system is much greater than what you've seen if you're Futuroscope. It has the opportunity to do a lot of different things. And, as we announced yesterday, this attraction in NightFlight Expedition is going to give you 4 different ride experiences. So you'll fly, you will drop, and you will ride like a coaster. You will whitewater raft like what you've seen in Futuroscope, but a little different than that. And then we'll use it as a traditional float ride as you discover Secret Lake for the finale of the ride experience. I mean, there's 9 different scenes in the ride itself. There are a lot of different elements to it over the 5 minutes of the ride experience, including ride in or load and unload. And we're just very pleased that our partners at Mack are excited about it and are working shoulder to shoulder with us to try to deliver exactly what is in both the design team and Dolly's head for what this could be.
Yeah, definitely. And when I first saw the reveal of Night Flight Expedition, my kind of first thoughts, judging from my own theme park experiences, was obviously using the Mission Bermuda style ride system. It felt very Valhalla at Pleasure Beach in terms of different scenes, different effects, really bring you into life in these different scenes and these different moments, combined with the flume drops and the kind of coaster elements, if you will, and also very a Disney-esque or a Dollywood's version of a Disney-esque style attraction where it immerses you into different worlds. So it was a really good combination of different things. Obviously, we've seen the concept art from these scenes, these kind of 4 experiences into one, in terms of making this one of the biggest hybrid rides in the world. I mean, in terms of the inspiration behind each scene, what was the kind of process behind that? Was it a case of creating the story of the ride, but also then creating different moments, or did the story of the ride just kind of flow in terms of creating the scenes needed?
Well, I mean, we had a structure of what the story was, and we knew that Cora and Jasper were searching for Secret Lake, and it was going to be an adventure for them to go and try to find it. Kind of the MacGuffin in a lot of ride stories is, you have an inventor that creates something that no one has ever seen before. And certainly we have that with Jasper developing this ride vehicle that we have that's able to do these four different things. So we had all of that in mind. And then you work with the ride manufacturer and saying, well, as part of this, we want to do this and this and this. Then what's the capability of the ride system? And, how can we move through this story and how can the ride augment that experience? And they're awesome at that. And they knew what we were looking for. I mean, you have to remember this ride is the height requirement for this ride is 39 inches.
Yeah.
So our goal is multi-generational families. There is good thrill in the ride, but it is, it's not it's not an overly taxing ride for young kids or older people. They're going to be able to experience all of these things along with the enthusiasts that are excited about the attraction. I mean, I will tell you, I remember when we announced Big Bear Mountain,
Mm.
you always hear the grumbling of enthusiasts that say, oh, well, it's not a Giga Coaster or it's not an RMC
Yeah.
or it's not a whatever else, right?
Yeah.
I think Big Bear Mountain proved that we have a good concept of how we can reinvent family attractions because Big Bear Mountain is certainly that, and it is certainly a thrilling ride experience and a fun experience that's re-rideable. And I think that last bit is often the thing that is lost on enthusiasts. And I've been an enthusiast for, nearly 40 years. And I've been on hundreds of coasters around the world. But the key to me, and especially as I've gotten older, is it re-rideable?
Mm.
Because there's a lot of experiences out there that are really interesting ride configurations,
Yeah.
but they're just not re-rideable or comfortable to re-ride. And now, if I was 18, there may be I might have a different take on it because my body is able to absorb that kind of punishment. And, that's not the business that we're in at Dollywood. We're in the family business.
Yeah.
And, trying to find story-based attractions that provide a thrilling ride experience for the whole family is really what we're looking for. And I'm going to tell you, NightFlight's going to have some great thrills in it that I think folks are going to love.
I honestly, I totally agree with you. When I first saw the announcement of NightFlight Expedition, I was like, that's the kind of perfect attraction that suits the target audience of Dollywood. And some may say it could be not a grand finale, but kind of a big climax for Wildwood Grove. But in terms of the future of Wildwood Grove, this won't be the end of Wildwood Grove, will it? There could be the room in the future maybe for more expansions and more storytelling within that area in terms of future attractions.
Well, absolutely. I mean, there's still some land there. There are several acres that are there that we can still develop. This obviously is, another chapter in the Wildwood Grove book, if you will, and this will afford us the opportunity to move that along. I mean, we have stories that we'd like to tell in other areas of the park, certainly. Some of that we do in the festival space that we have. We just opened our fall festival and Great Pumpkin Luminites for this year. We did a completely new overlay over our country fair area we added candy corn country. And so in that area, there's a lot of, really fun installations of candy corn. And we created new characters there's a lot of Instagram moments there for families and with kids that they'll have the opportunity to go down there and experience that. So we try to activate in different ways. Certainly this is the peak of our season, fall and Christmas for us. We are incredibly successful during that time period because of those two festivals. But we have
Yeah.
to look at the rest of the year and those things that we can bring in, and adding an attraction next year that will do 1,200 people an hour
Mm.
um, in a weather almost weatherproofed area that will provide us all that capacity is going to be important for us.
Absolutely. And finally, in terms of NightFlight Expedition, I mean, obviously, like we said, it provides this new chapter for Wildwood Grove. How proud must you feel of the growth of Wildwood Grove? Because it started out as this planned area, and now it's turned into this cinematic story where people can just walk through into this story and walk out of the story. How proud are you as part of the Dollywood team to be a part of this exciting era?
Well, I mean, I think it's amazing. I mean, it's been voted best children's area since 2019 within the industry through Golden Tickets. We take that very seriously and are honored by that. That's why we continue to add attractions. We had a choice of doing some different things when we added Big Bear, and we thought that was the right place for Big Bear to go, or for another large attraction to go, not necessarily, we wouldn't take that story elsewhere. But the and I think Night Flight Expedition it's a great piece for that, and shows that we're invested in that area, not only for the littles, but for their older brothers and sisters, and for the parents to have some other experiences other than, I mean, we've got a great Black Bear Trail is a great attraction within Wildwood Grove. It's one of my favorites. It's a metal bomb bear ride that kids can ride bears and go around in Wildwood Grove. It's such a great little attraction, and the different things that we've done. And the first coaster we put in that area is a little Vekoma suspended dragon flyer that
Mm.
really packs a little punch, and it's virtually the same layout as the Vekoma suspended that's at Energylandia,
Yeah.
and really, really great little attraction, um, and really proved to us that this new phase of Vekoma design and development is at the peak of the industry. And that was one of the reasons, in addition to the great layout, that we selected Vekoma for Big Bear Mountain. I mean, we had some great designs. I mean, I have to tell you, um, the industry brought it because we did it during COVID. We were about the only park that was looking for a major attraction during COVID,
Yeah.
and all of the majors uh, uh, responded to the RFP, and really brought cool um, designs. Cool enough that we have a couple in a drawer that if something were to happen, we may be able to modify those to go somewhere else. So, I mean, I have to be honest with you, that's the fun part of the process. I mean, I'm incredibly proud to market and to have helped develop the brand of Dollywood over the last 26 seasons. But um, the fun of it for me is being able to work on projects like Night Flight Expedition, like Big Bear, like Lightning Rod, like Dreamland. I mean, or like Wildwood Grove, and work on entertainment as well, and the shows that we have and the festivals we have. Just it's kind of a dream job. I was a journalist for 15 years, and this is so much better.
Yeah, I mean, when I see, and look, I'm in the UK, so I don't get to see as much as you get to do on a daily basis. But when I see the new attractions coming out of Dollywood year on year, when I see the entertainment coming out year on year, when I see the stuff that the media puts out to promote the park and the way the story of the park is told through social media, through digital posts, through promotions and branding, the way this park handles itself on a year by year basis is something that I'd love to see more of in the UK, and I want to see a whole lot more. Obviously, we're going to get a taste of that in 6 years with the Universal Studios project, but it'd be good to see more independent parks or chain parks such as Dollywood to, make its way to the UK and do its own thing. So when I see the things coming out of Dollywood, very exciting future. Um, just finally, then, on sort of an overall Dollywood basis, secrets are the best thing about the theme park industry because we want to keep as much of this hidden as possible. But is there anything you can hint to us about potential future projects, whether that be attractions, entertainment, events? Is there anything you could tease to us about the future of Dollywood beyond 2026?
Well, we actually have been working on our 10-year plan. So, we've gone through, so basically 2025 to 2035. And that's how we look at our development phases. And the, there's some really cool things we've got coming up. It is I can't really say much about it, but we are doing some things that I think that both the enthusiast community and the families that visit from, all over the U.S. And we've got families that are pass holders, believe it or not, from the UK
Wow.
that come a couple of times a year. And that does take a commitment, although it is getting better and easier to fly into Knoxville to be able to get here. But you have to remember when we've got various businesses, right? I mean, in East Tennessee, we've got Dollywood and Dollywood Splash Country, which is our standalone water park. We also have two resorts. We master planned 5 resorts for the property, and we continue to look at what the opportunity of developing that is over the next 10 years, both from a resort standpoint or an RV resort, or I guess you would call it a caravan resort.
Yeah.
And so things like that around, and then from a storytelling and development standpoint, I mean, we're going to continue to develop new shows and new festival overlay elements through that 10 years. In 2027, we'll have some additional elements for both Great Pumpkin Luminites and our Smoky Mountain Christmas Festival as we move forward. And then we'll be looking at some things, maybe not huge attraction additions in all of the years, but
Yeah.
opportunities for us to be able to ride capacity and culinary capacity are two important things for us. Eugene Naughton, who's the president of the Dollywood Company, came up through culinary. That's his, that's his background, and he's oft to say people eat lunch the same time every day.
Yeah.
So you've got to have enough capacity to be able to do that. So some of the projects are not super sexy, but there are a couple of real gems over the next 10 years that I think you're going to be really excited about.
I'm sure all of us are going to be very excited about it. Pete, thank you again for taking the time to speak to us here on the theme park interviews shows, and we do hope to come out there to Dollywood as soon as possible.
Would love to have you. Thanks for having me today.